Okay, so for the intro, I have here a guest, Giuliana from International Tea with Giuliana. And before I give my regular intro, I would like to get her reaction to something. Giuliana, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
I'm going to send you a couple photos and I want you, it's nothing weird, like, don't get freaked out. I already
I'm
prefaced this
excited.
beforehand. Tell me what your reaction is and if you've ever seen this before.
I am intrigued and excited all in
It says
one.
it delivered, so it should be there. So just
Oh,
describe what you see.
oh no.
Describe what you see.
I see. Okay, so I can't. Is this, well, I'm pretty sure this is your chemistry book. It says on the cover, Chemistry, a Molecular Approach, loose
But
leaf
then,
edition. But then on the
yeah.
back, oh no. Wait.
The third photo is a different package that's different.
Okay.
So I'll just jump in
But
here. So I had to buy my math lecture notes
okay.
and I had to buy them. And then I didn't send you my math textbook because I think the chemistry one shows off what's happening. I was sent a loose leaf edition for both of my textbooks, and I'm
Why?
renting them. I am renting
What?
these,
Wait. You're
and I
renting them?
and I emailed the bookstore. I'm like, I didn't even know this was a thing, and I did not opt in for this. I wanted to rent like regular textbooks, and I asked them
Right.
if it was like a COVID thing because these look new. But I'm like, if I'm renting them, like they're loose leaf pieces of paper, like they're gonna get like crumpled and worn out just by me touching them. And I'm waiting
Yeah.
to hear back.
What? Oh, that.
So these are my textbooks, and I need to buy, and they're a couple inches thick. Like I need a at least a 3 inch thick binder, two of them.
I. I am so intrigued as to what is going on here. Why loose leaf when you're like, if you're renting them? I'm like, what?
So to bring it back, this is the Pursuit of a College Education podcast. I'm Alexis, and like I said, I'm joined with Giuliana from International Tea with Giuliana. And actually, we
Hello.
go to the same college, which is why I wanted to show her this on the podcast to get a reaction because to me, I've never seen this in my life. And I was wondering if, she's ever seen loose leaf editions of textbooks. Okay, what even is this?
Okay, yes, because I'm taking like foreign language courses, and those books come in a loose leaf edition. So, yes, I've seen these before. However, I buy them because I know I'm going to need them in the future. So, I just thought that when you buy them, you get a loose leaf edition. I didn't know that when you rent them, you also get a loose leaf edition. That's a little weird to me because doesn't it like, isn't it like more likely that you're gonna damage the pages and things
That's
like
what
that
I'm
if it's
saying. And
like it doesn't have a
with your
cover, so
with your foreign language ones,
yes.
are there like things to fill out?
Um, yeah, so the pages they come with like exercises or well depending on
Okay,
what
well
it is,
that's
like they come
different
like yeah.
if you fill it out.
Yeah.
Uh okay. So this is, the podcast all
I
about
am, yes,
college.
unlike the voice notes.
Oh God, why did I just lose my
Oh
train of
no,
thought?
yeah.
And this is to document and further express what college life is and how it in turn affects me. Through my story, successes, and shortfalls, I hope that any other students, including Juliana, maybe you can learn something as I learn stuff from your podcast, can take comfort in that this is a marathon and it's like a very great but also like awful ride in life. Wow, that just got really dark. I'm sorry. There's good things and bad things, is what I should have really said. So, the topic that I wanted to talk about today with Juliana, because I think it's very fitting for us, is
Oh my gosh.
making friends and keeping friends while in college.
Yes, yes.
That's you. Are you there? Okay.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh my God. So,
I'm like,
I want to talk
oh.
about making new friends and again get Juliana's input, especially since she is an international student here in the US. And, there's a lot of different things with friend making, keeping, existing friends, circumstances change. We're going to get into like phone etiquette. Jesus. Anyways, so I actually wanted to start and I
Oh
wanted
my gosh,
Juliana to tell
phone
this.
etiquette.
I wanted Juliana to tell this.
Yes.
Juliana, how did we meet? Tell me.
Oh, okay. So we actually met in a very, well, I guess unconventional way would be the way to describe it. We met on an app, which
I just said an app. There's a million apps out there. We could have met on
well,
chess.com. You can chat with people on chess.com.
oh my god. That is true. Well, I don't know anything about chess.com, but I'll take your word for it.
Man.
Oh, no, but we met on, oh,
Mm-hmm.
what was it? Bumble, right? Yeah, so we were both there, and I don't even know, like, what was it, the
Yeah, we
Bumble
we were
Friends
not we were not
edition
on.
in the
Yeah,
other one?
which I've heard. Things happen, whatever. But no, I was specifically on the friend one because I actually had made a pact with myself, and this was actually before I was broken up with, because I was recently broken up with before we met. I was like, I need friends because I just don't have that many. I really didn't have any that I was seeing regularly or talking to regularly. So I'm like, I'm already on Bumble trying to find love or find whatever you find on there. And I was like, they have a friend one. They also have a work one. I've never touched that. And on the friend one, it was like all women. And I'm like, okay. So I was just like, let me just try this. And then we were at the same school and I'm like, that's great. You don't live like 30 minutes away like everybody else, which is extremely true. And I actually met another friend on Bumble through Bumble BFF, and she lives pretty far away, so that's why I mentioned that.
Oh yeah, I think I don't even remember why. So yeah, I was also like just like it was what was it? It was my first
That was your
semester here,
first
I think.
semester?
Yeah, it was. It went well, and I signed up for Bumble because I did also for like the Bumble
Uh huh.
BFF thing. Um, because I was like, maybe I'll meet like more people this way because hello, very introverted person here, and just like it was intimidating to either like go to like student events or something and meet people. Well, also I didn't know there were a lot of student life events going on either. Um, so I was pretty much just the type of person that went to class and then went back home, and that was like my life. And then interacting with like my friends that I already had from back home. So I was like, this needs to stop. I need to like find more social interaction in other ways. And I was like, okay, well, I'm on my phone pretty much almost every minute of every day, aside from like class. But so I figure an app would be like the best way. And then I sign up for Bumble, and yeah, the Bumble work one is very confusing to me.
Yeah.
So, I never
I don't know
I
what
like
the
looked at
point
it
of
once
that
and I was
is.
like, yeah, no. I really don't know either. But then I created like a profile for the Bumble BFF one, and then I don't know how long it took until like we matched, and then we just started talking. It was like at first obviously it was like a
It's
little
always
awkward. I was like,
awkward.
what do
And
I
I would
do?
also like to mention for the first, like, at least 2 months that we, like, started meeting in person, we were by that little tiny coffee shop thing in, like, what is, well, I call it the math building, but obviously, like, there's a bunch of other things there. But I only ever had math in that building.
Yes.
And then, like, we ventured a few times to the bake sale, and this was before I was in the baking program, too. So, like, that's all that we did. But you know what? as even though like, oh, we're going to the same school, we live, in a similar area. It was just boundaries and trying to, feel each other out. And when I look back, I'm like,
Yeah.
was it weird? No. I think some other people are just like, let's immediately go out one night and do all these fun things. I'm like, we're it's very realistic to say like we're both college students and meeting on campus just at like by this little coffee stand is not that ridiculous, because I was telling it to someone and they're like, why did you only just like talk at this table for like for weeks? And I'm like, well, that was enough. We were trying to learn about each other. And even though, we're it's not the same as when you're on like a date from Bumble. Like that's a whole, oh god, that's a whole different thing because it's a date. It's
Oh
not,
my gosh, let's not.
there's a lot less risk with, just being friends with someone. But at the same time, it's like you're strangers. You're trying to make sure, nothing, there's no red flags. So it's like, then it was
Yeah.
like, then we started hanging out. And the next thing you know, we bought a tent together. We are co-owners of a tent. That
Okay.
is true friendship. There's literally something that we both have ownership of and
That
we
is,
need to take care of.
yes.
It's a
It's the
pop-up tent.
tent. Oh my gosh. Okay.
So it's the good
Yes,
kind of
yes, it
tent.
is. It was.
Oh my god.
Yes. Oh my gosh. No, but yeah, I thought like meeting at the coffee shop in the college, like that was
Mm-hmm.
pretty reasonable to me, I think, just because like you said, we were like trying to
And it
feel
was
each
the
other
area that we
out and
both
like,
knew. That's another thing I liked. Like we both knew
yeah.
that the
Yeah.
building, the college campus was safe. It's not like going on a date with
Yeah.
someone or at least going to another establishment you've never been to. Like I felt pretty safe meeting someone
Right.
there.
Yeah, me too. Which I think is like one of the most important things also. Like you don't know where
Yeah,
it's gonna
and
lead
like
when
since
you
we both go to
first
the
meet up.
school, like we're always there. Like, so why not? Especially when our school has
Exactly.
so many
Yeah.
there's like so many coffee shops, and then of course there's like the food court and then the bake sale which only runs for a few hours.
Oh
But
yeah.
like when I was in
Which
confectionery
is
arts,
sad.
my partner, even though I found him kind of annoying in class, we a lot of times, if we were let out early, I would drive him over, or we would drive over to the food court and get Chick-fil-A, and we would. It was like one of the most fun times I've ever had with someone. And once the class ended, like we never talked. But that doesn't mean that you know peer friendship, just within a classroom, that was our circumstance of being friendly with each other. Oh God, I just bumped the mic. I'm so sorry. Um, that
Oh
doesn't
no.
mean that that relationship wasn't lesser than. It just didn't last very long. And like I said, we had so much fun because the amount of times we went and got Chick-fil-A, it was just a blast. And again, it was a safe space. It was a kid that he was also in high school, so I'm saying a kid, but like I'm not that much older. But it was another safe space for us to go and talk more other than in class. And while our friendship didn't extend past that, it was still a fun time. And I look back on it and I'm like, that was so much fun. And I kind of wish I had someone like that. And also, I wish the campus was open to where we can go and get Chick-fil-A like that. That's a different story.
Right.
Anyways, on to the next point. I wanted to ask you, Juliana.
Yes.
So don't. This isn't like a personal attack because I would like to talk more about this. How many friends do you have? How many would you say that you have? Whatever your
Oh
definition
no.
is, you can
Okay.
throw it out there. We all have different definitions, but just throw it out there and then say, how many friends do you have? You can ballpark it.
Oh, I'm
Mm-hmm.
definitely gonna ballpark it. Oh my gosh. Okay. So just like in the
You can also
US
count your
or
home country. They're friends.
Yay. Okay. So
So
that
now
makes it
I
a lot
have more
more.
friends. I can say I have more friends than Alexis.
Yeah.
I swear to you, whatever number you say, mine is going to be smaller.
No.
I promise you.
I think I'd say like around either mm, like 10 to
Okay.
15 friends probably. And like out of those, one like 1 to 3 are like
Mm-hmm.
very super close friends. And then the rest are like they're my friends also, but like they don't know
Yeah, which
everything about
it
me,
is
you
what it
know?
is. Like I said, however you define friendship, some people like to use the word best friend. I stopped using that in elementary school
Right.
because it was a little, I found it was a little weird to say. But for me, I actually don't have that many friends. I have, I would say, no more than 10. And one of them I truly
Hmm.
count as a friend, even though she is my cousin. But I have a lot of cousins that I never talk to. So for this cousin, she is counting as a friend, but I don't have more than 10. And I so then my next question is, how many do you normally keep in contact with? And it is a little different since
Okay, so
you know, you're an international student, so you're in an entirely different country. But how many
right.
right now do you usually keep in contact with, including me?
Okay, so um see that I have to think cuz like hmm, maybe like 7 or 8 of them I probably keep in contact with the most. Like there's one I know that we talk like
Mm-hmm.
every day. But we used to talk every day
Mm-hmm.
back home too anyway, so it's like that is a constant that I'm so glad for. Um and
Mm-hmm.
they know everything about me. So we always talk, but then and then after that like probably 7 or 8 or so,
Yeah, including
including you.
me. And also, like, it, and
Yes.
no matter where we are in each other's is like friend level, I'd say, like that doesn't matter because I asked that question because like my cousin who I maybe I would say she is my best friend because I think out of all my friends, she knows the most about me. But she lives on a farm where there is very little cell reception. So I don't get to hear from her very often. And also she never charges her phone. But and yet she's probably the one that I'm closest with. Like out of all the friends that I have. And
Right.
I'm excluding my sister because she's not on the list. Sorry. And yet I don't keep in contact normally. We'll send each other funny videos. We'll send each other like we'll email each other stuff and then when we call each other, it's like whatever plans I have for the day, they're out the window because we're going to be talking for 6 hours and it's going to be a therapy session whilst catching up with each other. And
Oh yeah.
even though, it's once in a blue moon, she's still the closest. And all these other friends that I have, I don't I may text them once a week, it may be once every few weeks. And I just wanted to make a point with us answering
Right.
these questions that friendships look very different. And also, just because you don't talk to them every day, especially with the accessibility of technology, of phones and email, um, it doesn't make a friendship lesser than if you don't contact them as much. Or on the other hand, if you contact them more, it's what is being talked about is more important in the connection.
For sure. Yeah, I would agree with that. It's like friendships look very different depending on who the people are that you're talking to and
Mm-hmm.
who like obviously you are. So I think like every friendship I have has a different dynamic for sure. And it doesn't make it less of a friendship if you don't keep up with them like every day. You know, you don't have to be texting every day for that person to be considered a friend. I really do think, like you said, it depends on what you end up talking about and like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
how good your connection is. Like at the end of the day, it doesn't like. Okay, I'm trying to think of a phrase here. What is it? It's
Yes.
quality over quantity. You know. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
was thinking about. But yeah, that's my take on it. It's, it's what you talk about and how in depth you talk about it and how well you get along with each other. That would count
Mm-hmm.
as a friend.
So next, what I would want to ask you, again, I'm going to have you start this out. How have you,
Oh no.
you can be as specific or as vague as you'd like, how have you been making friends in college?
Oh, okay. So because I'm like super introverted, it's it's a little weird for me. Like, so I've been coming out of my shell a lot more since like
Mm-hmm.
the first few months that I was here. Definitely.
Oh, I
Like, I can
know. I
totally
know.
see that
Mm-hmm.
change in me. So it's like, like you can tell,
Mm-hmm.
But, oof, I don't know. So a lot of people who I would consider friends in the US, at least, I met through work. Um, I don't know. The work that I do is super fun. And like, we talk a lot more than just about work, even when we're at work, So it's like, um, you see them every day, so it's pretty easy to form relationships with them, like friendships. And they're also like everyone that I work with, I can say, is super amazing and really fun to hang around with. And I would consider a lot of them, a lot of my coworkers, friends to like some level and degree. Maybe they don't know everything about me, but it's fun
Yeah.
to like hang out with them. And we do hang out sometimes like after work. Obviously not right now
Yeah.
because
That's. Mm.
thank you COVID, but but before the disaster happened, we would like hang out after work, and it was like super fun. And um, that's like one way. And then obviously our incredible story
Oh, that's
of
nice.
how
Your
we
story
met.
is
Uh,
incredible. I call it weird, but okay.
well, yes. I mean, yes, I weird and incredible. I think just incredible in that we met through an app and we're still talking. You know what I mean? That's like super rare for me to encounter.
Yeah,
Like, I
I
don't
think.
think I kept in touch,
Yeah, I
with like
think
people
it
that I met through an
shows
app
that
necessarily.
using apps, whether for friends or dating, or if you're just, I don't know, going into a chat room, which I do not do, it shows that you get out what you put in, and it's only a tool of connecting with people. It doesn't do the job for you of actually having to make conversation. So there are plenty of people, especially when I was
Right,
on Bumble
exactly.
Date, when someone just messages "Hey," or when I ask them a question and they refuse to answer, I'm like, you're literally killing the conversation, which is the only thing we have right now, is just this text conversation,
Right.
and it's literally dead now. And I'm like, so
Yeah.
you get out what you put in. So I was looking for making friends, and again, it was really nice. I was really trying to look for people closer to me, not that live, so far away. And
Yeah.
also I knew the whole time that it's like, if it didn't work, it didn't work, which it did happen a few times. I actually did meet up with quite a few other people that do go to our school, and it's just, you feel them out, and it's like, this is not someone I would hang out with. They're not in the same crowd, so I'm just gonna be like, hey, it didn't work out. Not feeling it, and that's okay.
Right. Yeah. That's totally okay. I do. Yeah, I agree. It's you definitely get out of it what you put into it, and I feel like for a lot of people, I don't know why they sign up for like Bumble BFF specifically. Like, I mean, you would expect someone to sign up for that if they want to make some sort of friendship in some
Yeah.
sort of way. So it's like, kind of weird that if I ask you a question and then you reply with like
Uh,
K and a dot,
uh,
or or like an emoji or something. It's
yeah,
like
the ones that
what?
only give me like
Then
emojis, I'm
what?
like,
What?
that's cool that you're telling me like what your expression is as to what I said, but like, again, where am I supposed to go from that? Send you an emoji back?
Right?
Like, come on. we'll get to more texting etiquette later, but I did want to, I wanted to also put my 2 cents in about making friends in class and distinguishing the difference between
Hmm.
friends that, or I guess I should say, classmates that you are friendly with, which is, I would say it's a type of friendship,
Right.
and then ones that are taken out of class. And the difference that I usually see, or what correlates with this, is if it's a gen ed class where you can get
Hmm.
literally anyone to sign up to that class, you get a bunch of, you get a whole bunch of different people with different majors, different backgrounds, different ages, which is fine. But
Yeah.
sometimes I'm not going to be making friends with the 40-year-old woman who has 2 kids that sit next to me. We're friendly, we're nice, we have good conversation, but that's usually the extent of it. And when I was in the baking
Yeah.
program, this is when I really found that now you have this stronger common interest. We all want to get our baker's certificate. We all want to work in baking and pastry. And we all start to talk about, even though we all have this common goal, then you start to learn like, well, some people want to become pastry chefs. Some people, excuse me, well, some people want to get a food science and bakery science degree like me. And some people want to be a kitchen manager of a pastry shop. And some people are just doing it to open their own business, like their own bakery. And then you realize that even though we have this common interest, everyone has all these different reasons for being there, but we all are going on this similar journey of trying to learn how to be good bakers. And so I found that it was much easier to make friends with everyone in the baking program. Also, we were all women. It was all women this year, which was fun. But
Right.
there were some actually like grown women with children, like that had to, one woman
Hmm.
has a son my age, and that's great. And we were talking like we were best friends as if we were the same age. So it goes to show that some friendships, age, isn't a factor in it because we shared baking school together and we shared similar visions of what we're going to do with this education. So now that I have to start taking gen ed classes again, I'm starting to see that there are a lot of people that just don't want to be there, let alone be friendly with each other. And especially on Zoom.
Right,
Like,
exactly. Oh, yeah,
why did
Zoom
I
is
even bring
like
up
it's
Zoom? Sorry. That's like, we could talk about it, but like, that can be its own podcast. I can write a book on it, on Zoom classes.
Yes. Okay, yeah. Definitely could too. I have some comments about Zoom, but you know. On the topic of friends. Um yeah, I agree. Like with gen ed classes, it's maybe you're like
Mm-hmm.
friendly with people, usually easier to do in a face-to-face setting. Like I found that most people that I befriend, it's like just for that like
Mm-hmm.
semester that we have a class with, and it's usually to like compare notes and things like that. It's like, oh, did you miss this? Oh, I missed that, and then we like share what we like wrote down or like what we understood of the lecture at some points if we see that like someone is struggling, um,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty nice, I think. And I would count that as a little bit
Yeah.
of a friendship in and of itself. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that we're gonna contact each other after the class is over. Um, which we
Yeah.
usually don't. It's like thank you for the camaraderie and moving on from here and going to our
Yeah.
next
And
things.
there's nothing
Um,
wrong with that. That's just another type of relationship that you have, and especially not having one of those in a class, which I've had many classes where wow, you're saying you're an introvert? I've had so many classes where no one would talk to me, where I was just around the most unfriendly people. And then when it came time, like, hey, I missed such and such day from class, and the professor thinks that or their rule is that I need to get the notes from another student. Um, I'm just gonna say, like, I disagree with that wholeheartedly because if you're surrounded by unfriendly people and they don't want to give you their notes, or more importantly, they didn't take good notes, now that's negatively affecting me. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not about that. But
I
having just like,
yeah.
you're saying maybe it's like a study group just for this semester, or having someone that you can, maybe it's like your go-to partner if you have to pair up in class. Maybe that's the extent
Yeah,
of the
exactly.
connection,
I
but
think
I mean, it's needed to survive in a class.
that's a fair point. Yeah. Yeah, I'd say for the most part that's what you would encounter in a gen ed class. And I think especially in like so I had to everyone has to for
Hmm.
gen ed have like a science course and a lab with it. Obviously here person that doesn't like science or math here chooses I chose environmental science the course and the lab, of course. And for the lab, we obviously needed to partner up a lot. And so we were set up in like tables of like groups of four. And so it was pretty easy to talk with those like three other people. And they were also like pretty nice, which I think is like great in and of itself. Because imagine having a lab partner that doesn't really actually want to talk to you. And you have to do like the experiments, and one of you has to like set it up, and then another one has to, do the other things. And so it's like it makes it awkward if you don't have like at least like a good friendly sort
Yeah.
of connection in a way. Like I don't know
Hmm.
anything about them, right? And I haven't talked to them a lot. Like if I see them in the hallways or something, I'll be like, hey, but it's pretty nice to have that, I think, and very necessary for survival in a class. Also, if you miss like a day in class, it's pretty nice to know that you're gonna have someone else out there that will be willing to share their notes, and hopefully they're
Yeah.
good notes,
Yeah. And what's even worse is I've been in classes where I'm at like a table, so there's like three other people, and then, ow, ow, ow. I didn't mean to do that. Ow. And then my hair just got caught on, I don't even want to say. let me start over. Let me start over.
Okay.
Well, if I'm gonna
All
cut
right,
it,
let's
I'll
start
just tell
over.
you. I washed my hockey gear and I have my elbow pads drying right here, and they're all Velcro, and I just leaned forward and it caught in my hair. Anyways,
Oh no. Oh
so
my.
let me
Oh
restart. Let me
no.
restart. So what's worse is I've been in classes where we were paired up at a table. Maybe there's three other people, or maybe there's just one other person, and then most of them drop the class. And especially if we're doing projects together
Oh.
and they drop it, the teacher, obviously it also throws the teacher, like it throws, what's the word, it throws off the teacher, especially if it's like, oh, we needed an even
Yeah.
number and now there's the odd number, like whatever. But then they have to handle that, and you can drop a class like whenever you just go online and you drop it. So
Yeah.
like you don't have to give the teacher a
Yeah.
warning. They're the ones that'll just have to check. They're like, oh, actually so and so dropped it, so now you don't have a partner. And so it also screws you over if that happens to you. And so while
Oh yeah,
working with
absolutely.
partners and learning just to collaborate with people in general is very important. In gen ed classes, and I did this my first semester, it's like you don't exactly know what you're doing, or maybe you're coming back to college and you're not like in your early 20s like me, and you don't know what you're doing, so then you realize, hey, I don't want to be here, and you drop it, which is, you got to do what you got to do. So if that's how you feel, then drop the class. But then it inconveniences other people. So there's never like an ideal situation to happen when someone leaves the class, especially when it's
Yeah,
a group
no.
effort. So,
Oh yeah, if it's a group effort, it's definitely hard. Obviously, double the workload for you because everyone else is set up on their teams, and then you
yeah,
can't just
I
like
had a teacher where
join
they're like,
one. Or
yeah, I had a
sometimes you
teacher where I
can,
couldn't, and
but
I'm like, are you kidding? Because they're like, well, then they'll have less work. And I'm like, but now I have more work. So
right.
for me, I'd be like, make a group of three and put me, like, make a group of three with me. But instead, they're like, no, you have to do it on your own. I'm like, whatever. Anyways, I got to be in the class, so I'm okay. Anyways, I want.
It's like it's
My
fine.
next point is I wanted to know, especially with you being an international student, how do you make time for friends that you already have? And you can talk, obviously
Hmm.
mention friends that you cannot physically see all the time being in the States.
Right. Oh, that's okay, that's kind of like a hard question to answer right now
Yeah.
because again, COVID. Uh we love the world right now. But for like my friends back home, I'd say so we have like different like text groups. So we honestly our communication a lot of the times is just like sending memes
I
to each
mean,
other. And we laugh about it
that
and yes.
sounds.
Don't
No, I'm
judge
not
me.
judging them. Like, that is the most optimal way to communicate with memes.
We either do that or we just like so if anybody finds out like well again like a meme or any sort of like information that you the other people would find relevant as well, you like send it on the group chat and then you're like all caps guys, that gets everyone's attention and then we just like start talking from there. um or I have private chats with people that I want to keep up with every day. That's also a thing. And then I say those are like the main ways that I have of communicating with people right now. And then I did like a few times with one of my closest friends. We did like movie nights. So we would get on Zoom
Aw,
and well, one of us would
oh
be
my
like
god.
sharing the screen and we'd be like watching a movie. you know, so we're like halfway through
You only
Hamilton, by
have.
the way.
I mean, it's
Uh,
long. I'd.
okay, but like it was like 2 a.m. Like
Well, the
no,
thing
it
is,
was
it's
like 3
it's
or
like
4 a.m.
almost three
actually when we.
hours, and it is split into two parts. And after I was done with the first
Yeah.
part, I was literally watching it
Yes.
in the bathtub, and I'm like, wait, wait, there's a whole other part. I've been in here for an hour and a half, and they're not done. So I was like, okay, I just gotta get out of the bath and watch this the second half another time.
That's the like so we started watching well we started super late because we were watching other things before that and it was like 4 a.m. and we were
What?
like the sun is about to come up and things well it was 4 a.m. for me, it was 5 a.m. in Paraguay because they're like
Oh,
an hour
well, I
ahead.
mean, they're only an hour.
So
I
and
was about to
then
think, like, if they're
yeah.
on the other side of the world, I'm like, well, of course you'd be up at 4 a.m. But I'm like, why? Okay, why are you up at 4 a.m.?
It was like no, okay, so it was I think
I'm just
yeah, it was a
generally
Saturday,
speaking.
so none
I
of us
stayed
had
up till
anything to
1
do.
last night, and I, I don't feel like myself. I don't know why I stayed up till 1. I just got so distracted. It was chess. I was playing chess. I was playing chess because I just, bought the subscription and I was like doing all the lessons. And then I'm like,
Oh
why
my
is it
gosh,
1 a.m.
your
and why am I
subscription.
not tired? So I had to lay down and do like a little
Right.
meditation, little like gentle stretching to try and fall asleep. But I'm like, I've never stayed up that late in years. And I'm like, what's happening?
So, I think that's okay. So, hmm. I don't know. Sometimes I do that. I like now I'm not doing it
Mm,
as
shit.
often because
Okay.
I like went back to work. So I have to like wake up at like
Oh,
6 or 7
yeah.
a.m. So I'm like maybe sleeping at 4 a.m. is not
Yeah, probably not.
reasonable. So I'm not doing that soon. Yep. It's like I'll be a walking zombie and nobody wants the Walking Dead at the office when you have to talk with, other people. So definitely try not to do that anymore as much. But like if it's the weekend, I'll probably stay up a little bit more, depending on like how late I woke up in the morning or early. Sometimes I wake up super early because I don't know, I don't turn off my alarm sometimes and it's like it's like 7:30 a.m.
No.
and my alarm is sounding and then I can't go back to sleep and horrible. It's like I'm dying or something. But um Most of the times I wake up at like 9:30 or 10 a.m.
Oh,
on the weekends because I can.
oh,
You have nothing else to
yeah,
do, so
yeah.
it's like, yay,
I woke up
get to
at
sleep in.
11.
Yeah,
Or was it 10?
fun.
It was 10 or 11. I think it was 11 because right when I texted you, I had just woken up. So
Yes.
whenever that text was sent,
Oh, okay. I think it was like around 11
like,
probably. Yeah.
and I didn't like get out of bed until noon.
Oh, that's a thing too. I would just wake up and then just stay in bed for like 30 minutes or an hour, and then I don't realize it's been 30 minutes or an hour since I've been
Yeah,
awake,
and like,
you know?
okay, I
And
think I'm
it's like,
straying too much from the
oh.
topic, but like, especially with Zoom classes, it doesn't help this. But, anyways, I wanted to get on. So, we're talking about trying to keep in touch with friends, and it is different, especially since you
Yes.
have friends that even if there wasn't a pandemic, like this is the way that you would probably have to primarily communicate with them. And I wanted to share
Right,
that
yeah.
scheduling is very important. And from what you've said to me previously, that you are not the most organized with the schedule. And if you think that's wrong,
Yes.
maybe you do have a schedule, but if you see my schedule, it's a little obsessive. Like
Is
yeah,
it?
I'll send you it soon. Like it's a little. I would say
Okay.
it's a little bit much, but also now with the pandemic, a lot of stuff has been canceled, or I'm not going out to see friends. But it would be like I would have to pencil in. It, just as busy as I was in normal life pre-pandemic, I
Hmm.
was volunteering, I had work, there was school, and then I was actually in February looking for a new job, and I was having to really stretch myself thin. I was leaving school early. I was taking a few days off of work just to go and interview in a lot of these places. So I was really stretched thin. So when it was like
Hmm.
I needed to hang out with a friend, it's like I needed to either plan it weeks ahead at a time, but no one likes to do that. So instead, I had to literally block out times that say,
Right.
um, this is a time I have to offer if a friend wants to hang out. Like I had to block a time anticipating that I will hang out with someone, because if not, that time would have been filled with another job interview or work or obviously more school. So I had
Right.
to proactively divvy up my time, and leisure time, hanging out with friends, is a priority. If anyone wants to be a sane person, and in this case, a sane college student, it's important to hang out with friends outside of class. And while we said that those are very important
Yes.
relationships to have, hanging out with someone outside of class, having the separation from school, and if you are working like us, having the separation from work is also very beneficial to your sanity. And I'm not saying that lightly.
Oh no, it definitely is. I agree. It's like you need a break. You need a mental break.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Whether it be like, okay, so hanging out with friends definitely helps a lot. Like even if it's like a phone call or a text or something, like you just keep texting back and forth. You could be texting like for hours, and not talk about anything that's related to like anything that you do on
Mm-hmm.
your like daily routine, and that's still like a big
Like
like it's
memes,
helpful
sending memes.
to like yeah.
It may seem stupid, but it gets your headspace out of, especially if it's stressful, work or school. So leisure
Yeah.
time, whether it is with friends or family or by yourself, like it's still very important. And obviously, this goes for people who aren't college students.
Yes.
Everyone needs the work-life balance. And
Yes.
now I want to talk about texting etiquette. Juliana, tell me. I'm gonna put you on the spot right now.
Oh.
If you
Oh
send
no.
someone a text,
Um. Mhm.
let's say it's nothing urgent, okay? So it's
Yes.
nothing like, it's just a casual text, but maybe you
Okay.
ask them a question and they don't respond for
Okay.
at least a day, how does that make you feel?
Okay, so for me, I think it depends on like, so if the question is like me setting up a time or asking if they want to hang out later in the week or in the weekend or something, I would want a like I wait for like a day, but I get like a little
Mm-hmm.
angsty, because if it's me trying to set up like a time to meet up with someone or hang out
Mm-hmm.
just in general, I'd be like, okay, but can you please answer because we need to make this plans work, and I have work, I have things to do, places to be in. So it's like, if I want to schedule something with you, then you know, I could wait a day, but I get a little like, a little. I wouldn't say upset, but like, I'd be a little bit worried that you're not replying soon. If it's to make plans, but if it's like just like regular like nothing to like set up a schedule or anything, I am pretty patient with like text replies. Like I don't mind waiting like a day or two, um, because I know that probably means that A, they're not looking at their text, or B, they have other things to do and worry about. So it's like, I appreciate the fact that everyone has a different time for
Mm-hmm.
things. So it's like, to me, it's fine if I like text someone and they don't reply, if it's just like a general text. But yeah, I'd get a little worried if it was to set
Okay.
up plans.
No, that's a
That's what
very
I
good
think.
answer. So, for some context for my answer, in high school, my my close or maybe not my close friend. Okay, I lied earlier. I actually did call this person my best friend. So I didn't stop using it in elementary school. I apologize. Um, so this best friend that I had in high school, due to many different circumstances that were, only affecting her, it was in her world. Um, she would always have her phone on her, and she told me that she would always see the messages, but if they induced any sort of anxiety, she would not answer. So a good example
Okay.
was, let's, oh my God, what was my example? I just lost it. Um,
Oh no.
let's say it's like, oh, I asked her to go to the mall on Saturday. And so now, from her point of view, it's like, I have this other obligation on Saturday. And it gives her so much anxiety to tell someone no, that she is unavailable. So she would just not respond. So to her, it's like, because it gives her so much
Okay.
anxiety. And like I said, she had a few things she was working with, which, caused this severe
Mm-hmm.
anxiety. So she would not reply no. But to me,
Right.
3 days goes by, like you're saying, with specifically making plans. I'm like, why isn't she responding? And we all know if we have iMessage, we look and see
Right.
if they read it or not. And so the other thing is that
Oh
she would
yeah,
have
we
read
can
it.
tell.
And then I'm really weirded out, like, why wouldn't you say anything back after 3 days? So and then
Right.
so that feeling of, I'm just gonna, I'm using this very loosely, like being hurt that someone would not respond to you, um, started to
Mm-hmm.
bleed into when I was texting other people. And then I started to take it personally, which is not good. So once I got into college and
No, that's not good.
I kind of fixed that. So now I don't take it personally, because I shouldn't have taken it personally then, because she did have many issues, and especially after she
Right.
told me why she doesn't respond, because it gives her so like crippling anxiety. While, like, to me, I'm like, you still could have answered. The thing is that she's saying no, I couldn't have, because it would hurt me. So
Right.
now I don't take it personally, because she wasn't trying to hurt me. So when someone doesn't respond to me,
Right. Yeah.
it just means that they aren't going to respond, and it doesn't have any reflection on me and my myself. So maybe it is you're busy, or
Oh
you
yeah,
have,
absolutely.
or God forbid there's like a family emergency, But there are other times where people lost their phone,
Mm-hmm.
or their phone, like I had once, got water damage. So I couldn't. Sometimes it would
Oh
ring and
no.
then like the screen wouldn't light up, and I'm like, how am I supposed to answer the phone? I don't. Even after putting in the bag of rice, like things come up, and especially now. Here's the interesting thing: me being at home due to the pandemic, I never have my phone on me because my sort of mentality, the feng shui, ew, why did I say that? Of me being at home, of me being at home is my phone stays in one spot, and I usually don't touch it when I'm at home, especially if I'm in my room. This is me time, this is relaxation time, this is
Mm-hmm.
playing chess time. Like, I am not on my phone. And so when someone like my mom calls me
Right.
and I finally pass by my phone 4 hours later, and she's like, why didn't you pick up? You're home all day. I'm like, I don't have my phone on me. If I'm out in the world, of course my phone is, I'm always going to know where it is so I don't lose it. But when I'm at home,
Yeah.
it's not a look at my phone, try to keep in touch like that. And then I started to
Right.
see that, especially my family, would they would be like, why aren't you picking up? They're like, this is obviously it's they're like, why isn't it convenient for you to pick up your phone? I'm like, I just don't keep it near me when I'm at home. So it's interesting
Right.
from
Yeah.
my first example and what's going on now about phone etiquette and how people use their phones. And now that I have an iPad, I just text off of that, and that stays with me. So that problem has since been eliminated, mostly. But
Yay.
just to know that everyone handles their phone and their phone usage, and when they make themselves available, I think it's very important. And again, to know not to take it personally. It does suck, like you said, if you're trying to
Oh
make
yeah.
plans, like, come on, like, time is ticking. But when something like that happens with me, I'm just like, if the time passes, then the time passes. Obviously, if they didn't look at it, or if they looked at it and didn't respond, obviously they didn't or couldn't hang out, which is a truth. Whether,
Right.
like, I don't know where I was going with that. It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I think one of the things that some people get annoyed at me too is that I turn off all the
Mm-hmm.
notifications when
You're
I'm
at
at
work,
work
yeah.
because
Me too.
duh. Yeah, I'm like I'm at work. So it's like I don't need that distraction. I have to focus on something else that's actually, more important at that moment, right? So then people text me or something and it's like you haven't replied all day. And I'm like, well, I have been at work for
Yeah.
8 hours today. So I couldn't possibly reply to you because I was doing that. And then sometimes I forget to turn on my
Mm-hmm.
notifications when I come back home. And so during the weekend, sometimes they're off, right? And it's like, I didn't mean to not answer you, but I forgot to put on my notifications again. So I didn't get any of your messages. Like they're there. I just didn't hear like the rings or anything to like actually like pick up my phone and answer it. So it's like, yeah, that's also a thing. It's like I have to turn it off and on again, and sometimes I forget, and I'm human, so it
Yeah,
happens.
same with me at work, given I am not currently working. Juliana, even in a pandemic, she is working. And I was laid off.
Yes.
So, fun. Um, but when I was working in a kitchen, you can have your phone on you. If anything, you should keep it on you because some kitchens do not have areas where you can leave your personal belongings, such as some sort of locker room. So important things like your keys, your wallet, your phone, like you're gonna keep them on you, but you can't, like,
Right.
anyone out there knows, like, you just can't have your phone out during work. Um, so
Right.
it's like, yeah, it may be like, oh, an hour ago I was able to text you, but now I'm at work and I'm gonna be here for 10 hours, so you can't bother me.
Right.
And some places you can either it's allowed or you kind of sneak in maybe a call or a text, And every place
Hmm.
is different, but while keeping in touch with people is important, um, where you are in the present, you also have to know how important that is. Like, like the classic thing, like if
Exactly.
you're in a movie theater, just step out. Like
Turn it off,
if you're getting a
please.
call first, it should
Yeah.
be at least on vibrate. So then, hey, you know you're gonna get a call.
Yes.
Step out. Don't just turn down. This is gonna be a rant now.
Yes.
Don't just turn down the brightness of your
No.
phone and send a text or take a call. Like, get out of the
No.
theater.
No, like get out of the theater. Like you're gonna miss like a few minutes of the movie, but compared to everyone else's
Yeah.
experience, can you please just take it outside? Because trust me, the people in the back can see that like the brightness, even if it's turned all the way down, you can still see it because it's a pitch dark
Yeah.
movie theater. We can see it and hear it, and it's
And if you
not
really
nice
wanted to,
when I'm
and if you
like
really
trying to
wanted to
enjoy a movie.
pause a movie, you should be home, watching it on a streaming service or on a
Yes.
DVD if people still watch them.
Yes.
I own a bunch of DVDs. I can't tell you the last time I
Yeah.
watched them, but it gives you the freedom to pause. So
Oh yeah, same.
if you're really expecting that
Yeah.
big of a call, I know it sounds like, oh, we're trying to control people and tell them, things that they can't do. But you know what? It's common courtesy is what we're talking about. And
Yeah.
so knowing, just when and where you're going to be using your phone, and knowing that given if we didn't even
Yeah.
have phones at all, what would we be doing? Carrier pigeon? Like, just because for a few hours I'm unavailable to text you, like, in the long run, I'm still able to communicate with you faster than a lot of these more ancient, these
Yeah.
more ancient mediums of communication. Anyways,
That's
before we
true. It's no, yeah, I
so
mean,
before we
yeah.
close, I just want to see if there was anything else you wanted to add, Giuliana, to the conversation. Anything that anyone should know, whether it's about the topic of the podcast or not.
Um you put me in the spot again.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that. um no, I think we pretty much covered everything. Yeah. But do check out my
Yes.
podcast if you'd like.
That's why I was handing that to
Um,
you, so you could
so
segue
it's
to your podcast.
I know. I was trying to find a good segue. Wait, let me try it again. Let me try
like
again.
Julian.
Because I was trying to think.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yes.
I wish I had written one down.
He's so good at it.
Oh my god, I'm really
Oh, I should have
thirsty
written one
for
down for
some
me too. I don't know why I
tea.
didn't do that.
And you could go and have international tea with Giuliana. Can we hire Julian to do segues?
Please. Okay, let me try that again. Okay. Do you want to start? Well, we can cut all of this up if you want. It's up to you. I don't mind.
Oh,
but
I'm keeping in my
either
fire segue. And you didn't take it. I was the one who I waited and you didn't finish it. So
Okay, can you keep it there and then I'm gonna
okay.
finish it now. I was unprepared for it. I should have written
go,
something down
go,
for it.
go.
That's my bad. So yeah, if you'd like to check out my podcast, International Tea with Giuliana, where I talk about my experiences as an international student in the US, I love it. If you could check that out, follow it. I also on Instagram, it's at international.tea. If you like to follow and keep up with more updates, I upload new episodes every Sunday. So yeah.
Oh my gosh, you have an Instagram. I gotta follow you. I didn't
I
think of
do.
doing that because
Yes, please.
man.
Yeah, I just thought it was like a good way to promote it. So like whenever I put an episode live, then I also like post a picture of it. So there's like not a lot in there yet, but it'll grow
Here's like a little nugget
steadily.
that Giuliana can attest to. For probably like what was it, last week? It was finals week. I was literally about to become a YouTuber with a ring light, with a tripod, and cover what I'm talking about now, but in a video form. And then my test video looked awful. I'm I am not cut out for the camera, is all I'll say. It did it
Same.
did not work.
I am not
And this was after Giuliana already
either.
said, she's like, I'm entering the podcast game, like mine's already up, like come at me. And I'm like, it's not me copying, it's just like the visual thing failed, so I just have to do the audio. Because it's so much more
Right.
production that goes into making videos. And like I was sitting in
Oh,
my
yeah.
kitchen in like a dining room chair, and like I had boxes stacked up because I didn't even have my tripod yet. I actually returned it because I'm not using it. It was specifically
Right.
one for an iPhone, so I'm like, I'm not gonna use it.
Oh, yeah.
And I looked at this test video and I looked awful. I was also still in my pajamas, which also made me look worse. But then you could see like the dirty dishes from the kitchen sink and like the refrigerator. It didn't look good. And then the lighting, ugh. I had the ideas, but then it was like the visual
Right.
like did not work. But the Pursuit of a College Education podcast does have a YouTube channel, but it is audio only, which doesn't make it any better. But I wanted it to be posted on YouTube. So, where you can find my podcast is pretty much anywhere where you can find Giuliana's. And I also post on YouTube under the same name, The Pursuit of a College Education. Giuliana, thank you so much for collabing. I know this isn't YouTube, but like I'm gonna say, like we collabed. This is so much fun.
Yes. This is so much fun. I love doing this.
We have our own like
Thank you for
cute
having
podcast.
me.
Like, who even are we?
Yes.
I don't know.
This is what
Also,
quarantine does
we
to
only
you
have
kids.
like 2 weeks before the fall semester starts. So like
That is
we're trying to
true.
enjoy our
That is
time
true.
while it lasts.
Yes.
Just to put that out there. So
Get ready for a lot of rants when the
yes.
fall begins.
Yes,
Trust and believe.
I'm planning to put maybe some special like rant episodes in between the weeks I don't. That'll only be like not even 10 minutes. You know, we'll just see if the circumstance presents itself that I need to rant. Then it'll happen. But it'll be a little special episode. So maybe keep your eyes peeled for that. But no promises. I'm still trying to feel it out over here. Anyways, well, thank you for listening. If you have a comment or question or criticism for me, you can email me at pursuitcollegeedu@gmail.com. And once again, please check out International Tea with Giuliana. Okay, can you say bye? We're going to say bye now.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
We love that. All right.
I'm literally just asking you to say one word. Really, it's too much pressure for her to say bye, so I'll just say it. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And goodbye!
Oh my God. Bye!